It's official. I have one of these tiny mics now.
If you're new here, I hit a serious depressive wave at the end of 2023. My therapist told me to journal, but I rebelled and instead accidentally wrote a fantasy duology. I swore I was never going to do anything with it, and now I am planning on self-publishing it in 2025. So join me today as I share my unhinged, slightly delusional plan of self-publishing the first book in my fantasy duology, Wrought in Iron. Hello, friend and fellow adventurer. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Kayla. I am a multi-passionate creative doing all the things. Around these parts, we are very anti-hustle, anti-niche. We are all about going the pace of grace, which is generally fairly slow. We like to work within our current capacity and our current means and give ourselves a pat on the back for every tiny little win. If that feels like something you resonate with, then I encourage you to stick around because I think we have a lot of fun. For those of you who might just be joining now, I am in a 12 days of Vlogmas where I am sharing my story about how I got depressed and accidentally wrote a fantasy duology. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, I encourage you to start here. That will give you my origin story and give you a little bit more background about how on earth I got here in the first place. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about my editing process and realizing that there came a point in this journey that I needed to implement some kind of structure. In the same way, when I realized I was actually going to do this, to actually self-publish, I realized I was going to need some structure around some timelines, some deadlines, some general goals. Otherwise, I would never actually finish. Because let me tell you something I told my friend just this past week. Being in the middle of a creative project, especially if it's a creative project that's going to take a long time, such as writing and publishing a book, the middle really just sucks. You're officially past the point of no return, and equally you are quite a ways out till actually finishing the thing. And because I knew I was going to be in this middle no man's land for quite a while, I knew I needed some general milestones. So I came up with 4 phases for myself to help get through to the end where I'm actually clicking self-publish. Remember, I am a newbie indie author, so there might be a better way to do this. However, I'm learning in real time and I'm learning within the capacity I have, within the current resources I have. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. So phase 1, I think, has been the most difficult. Now, to be fair, I'm still at the end of phase 1, so I might be eating my words later, but I have a feeling that this is going to be one of the hardest phases. Getting started, beginning something, being a beginner in the first place, and still moving forward, even though you know, gosh, there's so many ways in which I want to improve, but I need to start somewhere. That is a very, very difficult phase to be in, and that is phase 1. That is writing the first draft and then moving on to my developmental edit, which I talked a lot more yesterday, again, where I'm slicing, dicing, where I'm really trying to trim up this initial manuscript for my beta readers. That was my first phase. So my first draft, developmental edit, and beta readers. That is phase 1. I'm still waiting for like the final beta reader feedback, but we are almost done with that. That took me a long time. Longer than I wanted it to, but it takes the time that it takes. In 2025, I am really hoping that I will be moving strongly into phase 2, which is going to be another multiple rounds of edits. My goal is to have my world building and magic system edit, my character development edit, and then my grammar edit. Now, I'm actually really happy after my developmental edit. I'm really happy with where it's at. However, I know that there's still a long way to go. So phase 2, I'm hoping that each one of those edits is going to be quicker because I'm going to focus on just that, right? I'm going to be going through my manuscript and just looking for places where I need to either fix my world building or magic systems, beef it up, add something, take something out, clarify, and that really is heavily based on my beta reader feedback. After I finish that, I will dive into my character development edit, and actually I might flip those. I might start with my character development edit instead of my world building, but Honestly, it kind of will just depend on how I feel on that day. We'll see. Either way, then I will dive into my character development edit, which is going to be just that, focusing on, okay, are all of these characters kind of following a very clear timeline of changing and growth? Do they make sense? Are their voices like similar? Do they seem different enough from each other, or are they all the same? Is anybody bland? Is anybody just kind of like extra for no reason? All of that is going to be cleaned up in that edit. And then I will send that off to my friend Hannah, who was a high school English teacher. She's really great with grammar. I am not. I am terrible when it comes to grammar. I will send that off to her. She will, I'm sure, slice and dice that and tell me, how on earth did you make it through high school? And I'll say, girl, I don't even know. Then we will move into phase 3, which will be, again, another round of edits, but where the first phase ended with beta readers, the third phase is going to end with ARC readers. An ARC is an advanced reader copy, and this is the manuscript that you send out when it's pretty close to being done, but you're trying to get any final feedback before you're actually releasing the book. At the top of phase 3, I will start with dialogue. I will specifically go through and make sure my dialogue tags look good. Everybody sounds different. You know, are the voices, a few of the dialogue I have to where you read their accent in there. I've got to decide if I want to keep that or not, if I'm doing it well enough, or if it's just awkward and weird. So I'll work on that, and then I'll send it through another grammar edit because, of course, I will have changed my dialogue, and guarantee you I would have made mistakes. And then after those 2 edits, I will send it out to my ARC readers. Once I get my ARC reader feedback, that will conclude phase 3, and I'm going to be moving into phase 4. Phase 4, I feel like, will be as equally exciting as it is stressful because it's going to be probably crunch time. Again, I can always push my deadline back. I've already pushed it back once, which was really sad, but at the same time, I want this to be good. I want to be proud of it. I don't want to feel rushed. So I think phase 4 is going to be that, like, really exciting, a lot of energy. And then I'm also going to be like, what on earth am I doing? I will start with a final edit after my ARC readers. If there was anything last that they caught that is like, oh, I really should make that better before officially releasing. And then I will be doing page design and formatting through all of this. However, I will need to do a final page design and formatting because every time that you edit, things move around, things change. Then I will file my copyright in there, and then finally, at the end of phase 4, I will be officially releasing. Now, within all of those things, I am also going to try to fit in doing some illustrations for my book. I want to write music for the book, create some playlists for the book. I just want to create kind of this work of art. Like, yes, it is a story, it is a fantasy novel, but I also want to just create this whole world around it. Am I doing too much? Probably. Am I going to do anything about that? No, I'm going to keep doing it. So that is my personal proposed timeline for self-publishing Wrought in Iron. And I am equally excited as I am nervous. If any of this sounds intriguing at all, then I encourage you to join my Patreon, The Rooted Guild, where you will get behind the scenes for this entire process. Then I'm also building this really fun, robust resource library for creatives. I have a free tier over there. I encourage you to join, even if you don't got the coin, because I'd still love to have you. A huge shout out to my current Patreon members over at the Rooted Guild. You are amazing. I love you so much. And every time I see that I have people who are backing me right now, I think I can do this. And when I start thinking maybe I can't do this, I remember you all. And I think I'm doing it for myself, but also for them. So thank you. Anyways, I hope that was enjoyable and hopefully helpful. And I will see you tomorrow, where I will hope to be incorporating a little more of my trying my hand at vlogging and seeing how that goes. We'll do a little writing vlog, a little cozy writing vlog. Thanks for coming along, and I will see you next time. Bye.
All right. And then I guess that's the end.